Hey everybody, welcome to my not totally clean kitchen. I was gonna do the dishes and everything, oh my god, you're gonna see my dirty dishes in the back, and if I did wait for that, I might never get on the camera here with you today. So we're not gonna worry about the dirty dishes. I'm reminded of my friend Kate Christensen Martin and her idea of messy hospitality, just run a baby wipe over it and bring people in, because otherwise your house will never know the warmth of friendship and companions. And if people are worried about your dirty dishes, are those the people you want in your house? Probably not. So today I want to make pickles, and it's really pretty easy. My kids love pickles. My 2-year-old eats pickles for breakfast, pickles and pickles and pickles and pickles, and it's kind of weird. But, I like them, or Dad likes them. I guess that's just how it goes. Oh, there's wild turkeys walking out in the back. You can't see it because the window's behind you, but there's 5 wild turkeys out there. Wow, hello turkeys. Okay, so pickles. Pickles are all about taking something that you have that would just go to waste and turning it into something new by letting it basically go to a different kind of waste. So it's about sometimes in your life, do you ever feel okay, I've got this situation and this is just not gonna work, so you need to alchemize it and turn it into something else, but that process is kind of messy and gross. But it was gonna be messy and gross if you just left it sitting there in the garden or in the refrigerator drawer. Those cucumbers were gonna rot because you got too many of them. Or you can kind of make them rot in your own special way and have this process of okay, I want something else. I don't want cucumbers, I want pickles, and in order to do that, I gotta get messy with it, and we're gonna kind of intentionally rot food here, which is basically what fermentation is. So I'm gonna use a recipe out of, this is a book by Sally Fallon Morrill, and it's from the Nourishing Traditions kind of series. There's a whole bunch of books, and if you're into traditional foods, it's a great resource. A lot of people though are oh my god, eating Weston Price, this is the Weston Price Foundation kind of stuff, that's a full-time job. It doesn't have to be a full-time job, but it certainly could be. So that's why I'm going to recommend this kids book, the Nourishing Traditions Cookbook for Children, because it's it's got pictures and it's super easy, and if you have kids they can do it, and if you don't have kids, it's a great entryway to traditional foods. So we're going to start with a jar. We've got a quart jar, it's a mason jar. I like to use a narrow mouth jar. Some people are wide mouth makes it easier. I like the narrow mouth because it keeps them under water. We'll get to that part at the end. But whatever you want, clean jar. It doesn't have to be a fancy jar. It can be an old pickle jar. It can be an old peanut butter jar. Whatever jar you've got. That's the little one over there saying hello. Cucumbers. These are pickling cukes. I got these from Midway Farms. If you're in the Willamette Valley, Cynthia's kind of between Albany and Corvallis, midway between those two towns. She's doing amazing things with this organic garden. It's just this beautiful little year-round farm stand. If you're in the area, go visit her, Midway Farms. So I'm just shoving cucumbers in a jar. It's that easy. And you have to kind of sort of Tetris it to get them the way you want, because they maybe aren't going to fit. So again, pickles, life lesson, this isn't what I want. How could I make this work? Maybe I just don't need this one. Maybe that one is not serving me, so I'm going to get rid of it. Alright, so I've got some pickles in a jar. I really want to get this pickle in this jar. Alright, we're going to shove those babies in. Okay, pickles are in a jar. They're crammed in tight. Next, what we're going to do is put some dill in. You could use fresh if you've got it, dried, the seeds or the leaves. This is just a little bit. It's now kind of dried. It started out fresh a few weeks ago, but whatever. Shove that on in there. Some other things that you might want to put in, mustard seed, garlic, those would all be really good additions. Just whatever whatever strikes you, jalapeno peppers, whatever you feel like. And this same process will really work with any kind of vegetable. It doesn't have to be cucumbers. Next, we're going to do a tablespoon of salt. So 1 quart, 1 tablespoon. And then this is kind of the interesting part, lacto fermentation. Lacto meaning dairy. We're going to use whey. And there's a couple ways you can get your whey. The easiest way, I think, if you're just doing like 1 jar, would be like, you know when you have the yogurt tub and there's like that runny stuff on top? You can just like pour some of that in. You're going for like about, I don't know, like a 1/4 cup. So if you don't have like a whole 1/4 cup, which, you know, that's kind of a lot, pour your yogurt into like a cheesecloth and it'll drip. And it's good to do that like the night before so you can get your yogurt kind of, and it's like milking yogurt. Can you milk yogurt? But what it'll do is the liquid will drip to the bottom, and what's left in the cheesecloth will turn into like yogurt cheese, labna, some people call it. It's really delicious, like spread on toast or whatever. It's also like how they make Greek yogurt, you know, like why is Greek yogurt so much more expensive? Well, because they're taking all the water off, so you're just paying for that thick stuff. So that's one way to get your whey. Another is if you've already made pickles, you can just use what you created last time. So this is from my last pickle adventure, and I'm going to put about a 1/4 cup of that in here as my starter. So that's going to inoculate the water. So now we're going to fill it up to the top with fresh water, just room temperature water, nothing fancy. This is like not the same as canning. When I'm canning, I'm meticulous about my recipes and my temperatures and sanitation because I don't want to kill anybody. This is like a little more folkloric and kind of like, all right, it's got some salt, it's got some water, it's got some whey, and there's a little bit of wiggle room in it. And then if your cucumbers are like floating up to the top and not like behaving and staying down low, you can use a cabbage leaf to kind of like make a little lid inside the jar and like shove that cabbage leaf down around your cucumbers, and it'll keep them underwater a little bit more. And that is literally it. Done. So now I put the lid on, I leave it on the counter for 2 or 3 days, checking it every, you know, whenever I think about it, honestly. You know, when I am in the kitchen and take a look at it, I'll open it up because it will start to kind of like bubble and do things, and that's all right. That's what you want. That's the alchemical transformation of like the magic of cucumbers becoming pickles. So just kind of burp that jar every once in a while, or don't leave the lid on super tight. If it gets really funky, like smelly and slimy and moldy and gross, and you just have a weird feeling about it, chuck it and try again. But I've never had that happen. You just leave it 2 or 3 days on the counter, and then I put it into cold storage, which for us this time of year, it's fall, we have cold storage outside where it stays, you know, at a food safe temperature all day. If that's not an option and you're just doing 1 jar, just stick it in the fridge. And you're gonna be able to eat those, you know, for a few months. I wouldn't plan to keep them for like years and years, but if your family's like mine, they're not gonna be around for very long. As soon as they're done, they're gonna end up eating them and snacking on them and moving them. And then remember to save that water for next time. That brine can be your starter for next time. So that's it. The magic of rotting food in a particular way.